Coach.
Thanks, Claude. Yeah, reiterate what Claude said. Hope everybody had wonderful holidays, chance to share some time with the family. Obviously, during the pandemic, it's been tough, and it's great to get some quality time. And I know our players have enjoyed getting to be around their families, the guys that were able to, and getting a little bit of break from football, at least for 2 to 3 days. And we're back getting cranked up today, this afternoon, and getting guys COVID tested so we can start back. And that's what we're excited about, moving on to Cincinnati. And we got to work a couple days last week, just really on fundamentals. Tried to introduce some things on Cincinnati, but we've got basically a game week left to prepare for these guys, in which we'll start tomorrow and do pretty much a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It'll all fall on Sunday to Thursday and then play the game on Friday. So I know our guys are fired up, and our coach is excited to get back and get the guys back in here for, chance to play right there in the Peach Bowl, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And Gary Stoken and his staff do such a great job. And the more I've looked at Cincinnati, got a tremendous amount of respect for Luke Fickell and the team they've got. He's done a tremendous job there, and they're probably the most balanced in terms of being really good offensively, top 20, really good defensively, top 20, and then special teams the same way. They're very, very good across the board.
All right, let's go to some questions. Let's start with Mike Griffith and then Charles Odom.
Kirby, do you have any idea yet on the guys? I mean, I know we're starting this early, but do we know who some of the guys are that are going to play and not play? Is that list available yet?
For the most part, yeah, I'm focused on the guys that will play. I don't know. Apparently, there's a lot of bad information out there. You in particular seem to be dead set on writing things that aren't true for whatever reason, but I don't really know where some of you guys get your information, but it's not always accurate. So the biggest thing to know is we're worried about the guys that are going to play, and we're focused on the ones that are. Aziz is going to play. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I don't really know where you get it from, but I'm focused on the guys that are going to play, and we got a lot of them that are. And the guys that aren't, they have a particular reason, and I think I'll leave that up to those guys because some of them have been injured and played throughout the year. And like I said, I'm focused on Cincinnati, and COVID, because those are the opponents we're dealing with right now, and that's what we're really focused on. The guys that are here are going to try to play in the game, and I'm excited to see a lot of those guys. Y'all keep listing. Mark Webb's going to play. I don't know why people keep listing his name. Richard LeCount's trying to do everything he can to play in the game, and he's been battling to come back. He's been at every practice. He's been at every rehab session. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of bad information out there.
When we were last together, you expressed some regret that Cincinnati wouldn't have a chance to enjoy the full game week that the Peach Bowl committee provides. What can you do just for your guys to try to accentuate the bowl experience for them and for your team?
Well, it's hard because the bowl experience is at the bowl, and we're not going to be at the bowl until the night before the game. So it becomes, your work week experience. That's this week. And like I said, the third opponent we're playing is COVID. So we're trying to avoid doing a lot publicly, and we're trying to avoid any positive tests that might knock somebody out for this game, with the numbers spiking all across the country. But really right here in Georgia, with things going up, our concern is with our players that have gone home and come back, and also our guys being around each other. So there's not a lot you can do to enjoy the bowl. You got to be able to enjoy the fellowship of your teammates and staying safe so that we're able to finish off this season.
I can follow up quickly. When do you take your team to Atlanta?
We're going the night before the game, so I guess that'd be Thursday.
Let's go to Seth Emerson and Mark Weiser.
Kirby, let me try on other guys' answer as you feel you want to. Monty Rice, Eric Stokes, Ben Cleveland, Trey McKitty. Can you confirm whether
any of the four that right now I don't think are going to play? Trey obviously has a Senior Bowl, and Trey was dealing with a knee all year. He had a knee injury right before the season that slowed him down. And Ben has been dealing with a shoulder, and Ben's played a lot of football, with us. And then, Monty has had a foot injury that he pushed through ever since Alabama. and he's been trying to prepare, get ready for the Senior Bowl. Got a bright future ahead of him, but he hasn't been able to practice. So it's really kind of unfair for Monty because he hasn't. I mean, he literally can't practice, and he goes out and tries to play in the games, which is tough on him. So he's trying to get well and recover, and then Stokes has chosen to declare for the NFL. So with Stokes' situation, those four guys probably won't be able to play. But like I've said, I'm super proud of the guys that are and that want to finish it off and that are committed to Georgia and finishing it off the right way. And hey, look, at the end of the day, I'm worried about the ones that are here. And I think it says a tremendous amount about the guys that are. I'm not focused on the guys that aren't because that's an individual decision for each one.
Kirby, some of those guys you mentioned, or I guess that you just confirmed in terms of Monty and Eric are very impactful in terms of playmakers on defense. Aziz, if he's playing like you say, is another guy that is. But in terms of plugging in guys at those positions, how do you get that type of production?
Well, I mean, they got scholarships, right? Like Monty has not been in every play of the year. I mean, he's had to rotate quite a bit this year. I don't know if you noticed, but Quay and Nakobe have played a large amount. I mean, probably there's 2 or 3 games that Monty just went in to spell them because he was doing all he could to help the team and wasn't able to go full speed. So Channing's played more. Nakobe, Quay, Ryan Davis, Nate McBride, all those guys have gotten more opportunities, and they'll continue to. Same goes out at DB. We've had other guys have to go in and play corner. Amir Speeds played some corner. Jalen Kimber, Durant Branch has grown up and started to play more. So those guys have got to step up and be able to play in Stokes' shoes.
Okay, let's go to Anthony Dasher and Chip Towers.
Hey, Coach, an injury question for you. Trey Hill, how's he doing from his knee surgery? And does he have a chance to play in the bowl?
No, not likely to play in the bowl. He's doing really well. He's moving around on his own. He's comfortable walking around. He had both those knees scoped, and he's rehabbing with Ron. He's doing weight bearing exercises now, but he's not going to be cleared for the game.
Yeah, Kirby, last thing from me on these players and everything. I'm just wondering kind of more big picture. Obviously, this is something that we're dealing with now in modern football that you didn't used to deal with. There used to be not any question about it. I appreciate you doing this tonight is where maybe we knock it out. We're not asking you about it anymore. Are there any other guys that we don't know about it that you haven't been asked about that aren't going to play in the game for whatever reason? And
I wanted to talk about Cincinnati tonight. Like there's nobody, like I said, I'm really worried about the guys that are here, not the ones that aren't. And that's my focus for whatever reason. Everybody wants to write the story about the ones that aren't, but really the focus and attention should be on the ones that are, in my opinion. So that's where my focus is. I don't know if you guys know, you could probably look down the list and see, but of the first 64 players picked last year in the NFL draft, there were only 6 that didn't play in their bowl game, if they had a bowl game. But there was only 6 that didn't. So it's not necessarily the modern thing or the trend to do that. I think people make it out to be that way, but that's not actually true. A lot more played than didn't play, and it'll be the same way this year.
Okay, let's go to Dean Legge and Jake Rowe.
Kirby, how are y'all going to deal with the COVID? I mean, is the COVID thing going to be that y'all find out on Wednesday or how is that working for this game as it relates to getting guys ready to play for? When can they be knocked out by COVID, for lack of a better term? Would it be Friday morning or Thursday? Will y'all know?
No, I mean, we have 3 tests to clear. So one would be tonight. We have 2 more tests to clear, which will be Monday and Wednesday. We're following our conference protocol, just like they're following their conference protocol, and everybody agreed to stick with your protocol throughout the year. But we have 3 hurdles to get through. One would be tonight's, in which we hope to get back the test as soon as possible, and then we would have Monday morning, I think it is, and Wednesday morning. So you can imagine we're on pins and needles, because anybody that hits on those 3 testing cycles would be out. And the bigger concern is the contact tracing, in which they may knock out more guys. And anybody at this point wouldn't clear contact tracing or COVID. So it's an obvious concern for both teams, and we've dealt with it all year, but our numbers have gone up in the last 2 to 3 weeks in terms of us hitting some players where we had gone, I don't know, a long time without really losing anybody. And we've had some guys that we've had to quarantine and we've lost. And we're fighting to get every one of them back. I mean, the week that we would have played Vandy, we would have had one or two. The next week we would have had one or two, and we've been able to get those guys back. But we know at this point forward, there's no getting anybody back. So if it's the wrong position, from a depth standpoint, it could really attack your team.
I'm sorry. Have you planned personally for what would happen if Kirby Smart misses the Peach for whatever reason?
Yeah, we have protocol in place, and every time I test, it's a concern of mine, and I'm not going to share that exact plan because it hadn't had to come to fruition. But we've been through it and talked about it, and have things available for Skype meetings, Zoom meetings, to sit in team meetings, to be at practice by way of Zoom meetings, have someone in charge of game day decisions, and pretty much everybody in the country has that now.
Kirby, it wasn't necessarily because of players skipping bowl games 2 years ago, but I guess it was last year. The opportunity those guys have to grow up, how big is it? Almost like it's getting to a point where, for some select guys that bowl games are the new spring game for some of these guys, they're actually getting a chance to play and getting that experience, maybe even on a bigger stage.
Yeah, I agree with that statement of guys getting an opportunity to step up and play. I don't really know exactly what you're asking, other than, do guys get a better opportunity to play in bowl games? Yes. A lot of guys get an opportunity in bowl games because sometimes you have postseason injuries. Sometimes you have, first round picks that choose not to play. I mean, for whatever reason, you have attrition, right? And other guys get an opportunity to play. We certainly had a lot of that, but that wasn't, a lot of those choices last year weren't their own. A lot of those choices last year were our choices. So we had 2 first rounders that chose not to play, but we had some other guys that couldn't play.
Let's go to Brandon Sudge and then Jillian from the Red and Black.
Hey, Kirby, so a big picture, in terms of the bowl game, what do you feel like some of the biggest takeaways y'all can have as a program? Is it more of looking towards the future, saying this is what the team has for 2021, or what do you feel like the magnitude is in a bowl game, and when you're able to win it, I suppose, like you did against Baylor last year?
Yeah, I think everybody tries to spin the bowl game as building momentum, and that's great. It 100% is an opportunity to build momentum. Everybody wants to talk about 2021 anyway. That's all a lot of teams want to talk about. Once you're not in the Final Four and you're not in the playoffs, I mean, that's what people are going to talk about. They're going to talk about the next season. They're going to gloom or doom. It's going to be way up here if you win, and it's going to be way down here if you lose. And the truth, as I always say, resides somewhere in the middle. And that's not going to necessarily change for us. What I want to do is play good, sound football. I want our seniors that are in this game to go out on top. I want the guys that have dedicated, 5 and sometimes 4 years to our program, some cases 3 years to our program. I want them to go out on top because they have worked so hard to do that. So it's an opportunity. It's a reward for our guys to go out and play a top 10 opponent, a team that has not lost a game all year. It's got one of the best programs in the country over the last 3 years. We want to go out and perform well. We want to perform our best. We want to play our best game. So I'm not like auditioning for next year, although some players will get their first significant playing time. But it's really about these seniors and the guys on the team that have given so much and finishing things off the right way. At the end of the day, it's how do you finish things off with something you started.
Hey, Kirby. If you've gone back to watch some film on Desmond Ridder, what have you noticed about him, and what are your thoughts on containing him?
He's a much better runner than you give him credit for. He's long. He covers a lot of ground. He makes the right decision a lot. When you're playing a guy that's played as many games as he has, it's like, he's seen it before. We've been over this before in terms of experienced quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that have a lot of experience don't make mistakes. He pulls the ball when he should pull it. He makes guys miss on the perimeter. He takes off and scrambles for a 50-yard touchdown run. And you can't really account for that as a defense coordinator when you're trying to cover all the weapons they have. And he's just a really, really good football player.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. Let's take that from Connor Riley.
Hey, Kirby. One, was your favorite Christmas gift you either got or gave this year? And 2, I know it's truncated practices in a traditional bowl schedule, but how beneficial are those, I guess, extra practices at the end of the year, especially when you look at schools like Tennessee and South Carolina having to opt out of bowl games? How beneficial are those to young players?
Well, they're really beneficial when you get the full, I guess, allotment, I would say, like the full gamut of hey, you're going to get 5 practices and then you're going to come back and you're going to practice for the bowl game. Those are really good. We didn't get that this year with the pushback schedule. We kind of got 2 practices in which we worked on Cincinnati a little bit, but we competed and went good on good as well. And then this week it'll be focused on a game week. So we don't get that benefit that we traditionally get. And then for me, gift I got or gave, I guess my wife purchased one of those ring lights. So she thinks I'm going to be at home doing these Zooms with you guys this off season. I told her we were trying to get back to normal, but she's purchased one of these things that I guess glows light and throws at you from the other side. So anything that she can do to maybe help me look better would certainly help.
Thanks, Coach Smart. Thanks,
Sure.
everyone, for